Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Used to do these a while back and just kind of getting started back into them. So I'm sitting here working either way, so figured I might as well turn the camera on. Um, so regarding the, let me make sure my audio's working here. Okay. Yeah, so regarding the computer science question, so I tend to get this question fairly frequently, and it's a hard one to answer. Um, what I usually like to say is kind of figure out what job you want to do. Like, it would help to either try to shadow people, maybe try to talk to some people that work in different fields and figure out what they actually do day in and day out before you put all your eggs in one basket in a specific domain. With kind of where everything is going with AI and everything, I think it's still a little bit too early to let that weigh into your decision. It's definitely something to keep in mind. I think like cybersecurity specifically right now is probably going to be difficult because cybersecurity, as you know, you kind of have to build a portfolio for yourself and you kind of show your work, and you have to do like entry level help desk stuff first. So, I would just say it depends on what you're into. Like if you're into programming, continue down that path. I think software engineers are just going to continue to get more and more. I think they're going to be more and more valuable as time goes on. That's just my opinion. I found myself doing networking because I kind of wanted to do more hands-on stuff, and that ended up being, good for me. To be honest, when I started, like I didn't really even know what networking was, but I learned it, and I learned to love it, honestly. So yeah, I would just, like I said, just try to shadow people. See if you can have some real conversations with people that work in different domains, and yeah, I would say that's a good starting point. But I guess the follow up question would be, what are you into? Are you into programming? Are you into cybersecurity? Are you into networking? Are you into like sysadmin stuff? None of the above. And sorry for the long-winded answer. And if you want to focus specifically on something to start, like a certification or something, to be honest, like, and I'm a little biased because I'm in networking, but the CCNA is like where it's at. Um, you learn so many different things in the CCNA now, and AI is included in that. That, and it's also like one of the most recognized certifications. So, to be honest, like even if you don't get the certification, definitely studying for it will get you a lot of knowledge in the different domains. I would recommend definitely taking the exam, especially if you're just getting started, because that really gets that'll set your resume apart from a lot of other people trying to get entry level jobs. So like if I was starting right now, I'd probably still be studying for the CCNA, but I'd probably also be doing a lot of like home lab work and taking some of the free Anthropic courses to look through. Yeah, I mean they're all the courses they have on their website are free, and they're like really solid, honestly. So I would look into those. Study your CCNA, start a GitHub repo for yourself, start posting kind of what you're doing out there, put it on your LinkedIn. But like building that portfolio for yourself is a really good thing to do too. Yeah, so I am currently so most of the work I've done so far has just been on my like gaming PC, but I got a MacBook M3. It's like a 2023 model. I got it refurbed off back market, and I'm just gonna use LM Studio and run Olama, and let me see the other models we're gonna try. So we're going to use a Llama, Quen. There's a new model that just came out a couple weeks ago called Laguna. What else we got? Yeah, those are going to be the big ones. So the Olama 70 billion, the Quen 35 billion, 27 billion, and 30 billion. The Laguna one is a 2.1 billion model. But the Laguna one, I'm not super familiar with it, to be honest. I'm going to test it, but it's supposed to be specifically geared towards like agentic flows and stuff. Yeah, so I have a MacBook M3 Max with 64 gigs of unified memory that we're going to be testing on. So, and then I'm gonna do some like memory caps to show, like, you know, if you're running a PC with only 16 gigs of RAM or 32 gigs of RAM, to kind of show like the benchmarks of what you can do. But yeah, should be a cool video. I'm basically just getting LM Studio and all the models installed right now. Do I think there's a good scope for software developers in the future, especially with AI growing so fast? What areas of development do you think about the most opportunities? So that's a great question. So I'm not a developer. I consider myself developer adjacent at this point. I think we all kind of are becoming that way. I don't think writing code is going to be what a software engineer does in the future. I think really what's going to be important for software engineers is knowing how, and like the thing I struggle with right now is, do I need to learn coding languages? Like, do I need to take the time to learn C++ or whatever, or is AI going to advance in the future to where like it's more proficient to use some super weird version of, you know, code architecture that it came up with itself, and we're never even going to know what it's doing? I want to say that it's still helpful to learn like basics, like definitely learn Python for sure, and Linux and stuff like that. I write most of my code with AI in Python just because it's easy. It's adjacent. I'm a network engineer, so I do a lot of any automations that I do is with Python. So I would definitely learn Python. But like I think the role is going to be more focused on like making sure that you understand the code that's being generated, making sure that you can build the systems that the code runs on. So like, do you actually know how like CI/CD pipelines work? Do you know how like Git works? What is your code testing look like? And I think it's going to be more around building out the like the platforms that you build code on, like the system that builds the system essentially. Because like what software engineers used to be focused on and still are a lot is like just writing the code. And I think it's going to be more about coding the system that writes the code. There's a guy on YouTube that his name Indie Dev Dan. He talks about platform engineering and building the system that builds the system. And I think that's what software engineering is going to kind of get into. So like building your own agentic harnesses, building out how to the system that quickly ships code and make sure that it's like, you know, good, legitimate code, making sure that it's efficient code. I think that's kind of where software engineers are going to go. But like, I think they're still really important right now because AI is very geared towards software engineers. Like, it's big with obviously like with Claude Code, like developers are using AI more than like any other domain. And yeah, so I don't know, another long-winded answer, but you know, I feel like it's just going to become more and more important because software engineers understand how code is written, how coding systems work, best practices for how code is shipped, and that stuff's all really important for when you're building with AI. So also, let me know if the music is cringe. I kind of built this playlist a while ago. This is like YouTube's free, no licensing music. It's lo-fi-ish. Not the typical lo-fi I'd listen to, but you know, you have to pay for licensing for that stuff. So. Absolutely. It's a hard question to answer right now, and to be honest, like I don't want to say I would hate to be in college right now. It's a super exciting time to be in college for sure, but I think figuring out exactly where to point your bow and arrow right now is the hard part. Like you have so much, I have a full-time job, I have a family, everything. So like doing this AI stuff on the side takes a lot of effort, takes time, away from my family, stuff like that. But like if you're in college, you don't have commitments yet, family commitments, you've got free time. It's a super exciting time to be building stuff. So I just think the hard part is figuring out exactly what domain to go for. Everybody has their own take, from the fact that AI is not going to take any of our jobs to AI is taking all of our jobs. So it's hard. I like to live in the middle ground. That I think AI is going to augment us. We're going to, the engineers that can use AI to be more efficient and be 5-10x more productive, you're not going to have any issues getting a job for a long time. So I'm going to follow along first step. So I am currently just getting LM Studio installed, and then I'm going to start pulling models down from that. They're somewhat lengthy installs. Like Olama 70 billion's 42 gig. Give me just a sec. I can throw I can put some stuff in chat here. Give me just a minute. So for the company, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Garrett Masters on LinkedIn. My company's there. I don't typically announce it directly on social media and stuff, but you could easily find me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn should be in my YouTube main page on the About if you want to find me there. But I've been working in networking for about 11 and a half years now. Also, I appreciate the feedback of following along, because that's a good point. I should probably maybe next time I go live, I'll kind of have a step-by-step walkthrough ready to go. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's just LM Studio. Give me just one sec. See if my timer restarts. Nope. What's your what hardware are you running? Just curious. Like or do you have a GPU? What's your RAM? Just because the first model I'm gonna download here is the Olama 70 billion, so it's just. Sorry. It's maybe easier to show this. Okay, yeah, so that's similar to my desktop setup. Your processor's better than mine. So basically, you just go to So from what I can tell, you basically just install Olama just from here. And then yeah, so let me paste this in chat here. I don't know how this is going to paste in chat, but we'll see. Too many characters. So yeah, so I would just go there, download whatever model. Let me pop this open here. Like, full disclosure, like, I'm super raw. This is actually the first time I've messed with local models myself, so I'm learning on the fly with you guys. So. So yeah, just go there, download the Ollama app for whatever operating system you're running, and then oh, okay, so you download the Ollama app first, and then you pull models from it. Got it. Just trying to find the correct path to get this to pull. It would help if I launched the app after I installed it, huh? I'm very new to Mac OS, so this is also another learning curve for me. Yeah, so Quen and those will be so Quen's a different company makes Quen. So the actual LM Studio is just lmstudio.ai. So basically, first we're gonna pull all the Ollama models into LM Studios. LM Studio is like your aggregate. It's like a vendor agnostic local model studio. That's probably what LM Studio stands for, local model studio. So we're gonna pull our Ollama models into LM Studio, and then we'll also pull in the Quen models, Laguna, and then we're also going to test a GPT model that is not localized. We'll explain a bit later when I actually get the video posted, but yeah. Yeah, the only reason I'm pulling or I'm downloading the Olama app is because the command I'm running requires Olama to be installed. I'm not 100% sure the reason for that. I'm assuming you could do it through LM Studio, but the doc I'm working with Claude, and it wants me to basically start the download for Olama because it's a 43 gig download. It's going to take 25 minutes here, so they wanted me to kick that off while I get the other stuff set up. So yeah, I installed Olama and then basically ran this command. And then that kicks off the download for the 70 billion. And yeah, thanks for the LinkedIn ad. I'll jump on there and get you added here. Appreciate it. My phone is my camera, so restricts some of what I can do. Alright, so we'll get LM Studio installed here. We're gonna see if I destroy the stream by kicking off all these downloads here. Probably wasn't my best plan. Okay, stream's still working. Love to see it. Good thing I have fiber. Cool, so yeah, good time for questions. I'm sitting here waiting on downloads. Let me switch to my Actually, while these downloads finish, I'm going to step away for just a sec. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, we're back. Yeah, so Olama is the main reason we're testing with Olama is because Olama is like one of the they're like on the, I mean, 1 year old's not bleeding edge, but Meta as a company, like their open source models are usually very close to, they're one of the bigger like open model players. So some of the other models we're going to be testing are like Chinese models. So essentially, if anybody has qualms with overseas stuff, Olama is probably what you want to use. The DeepSeek models are really solid for open source models. I don't think we're going to be testing any of those in this one, but yeah, I think I did 5 different Gemini deep research projects to kind of figure out what our best local models would be to run for this video, and came up with these ones. Hey, real quick, are you, just so I know, um, if are you retracting your messages or is my stream doing that? Because if it is, I'll have to look into that. But if you are, that's totally fine. Just curious. It looks like the new LM Studio app is called Bionic. Maybe we're not using Bionic. What's the difference? Looks like Bionic. Looks like Bionic literally like just came out a couple weeks ago. Alright, so we're gonna install LM Studio Classic. See if I can get the link for it. Yeah, completely different things. So go here for the classic download. Maybe we'll be talking about Bionic later. Classic download is here. Okay, cool. Just making sure. So yeah, right now just basically download LM Studio, the classic version, and then start off or kick off the Olama pool. Let those run in the background. Then I'll give you our next set of commands here in just a second. All right, so the next, I'll paste the Windows, assuming you're running Windows. While those download, so basically we're going to set some environment variables to configure Olama to adjust the default settings. So one of them is going to be adjusting the context window, because the default context length for Olama is 4,096 tokens, which is crazy. So we're going to set it to 32,768, which is still kind of small, but it's a big model. So the environment variables, I'm limited by the chat length here in YouTube, but it's going to be this. And once I have this video live, I'll have a full walkthrough on my GitHub. So I have a GitHub repo. It's just NetOps toolkit. The link to that should be it's on my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn, all that stuff. So like with every video I make, there will also be a walkthrough of kind of everything that we did, how you can do it on your machine, etc. So these should be the Windows commands that you're going to run. It's different on Mac. So for Mac, you have to run launch CTL. So once you make those changes, if you can run this command, this should confirm if it actually took, and then you should see your context length as 32,768 should print. Oops, not that. Or wait, is that the right one? Yeah, so run that last command once you're done with the other environment variables, and then it should print 32,768, which just confirms that the other environment variable commands took. Okay. So let me clarify. So the reason we are so I was incorrect. So we're doing a llama. So basically, the only reason I downloaded LM Studio is for my video. In the video, we're going to kind of just show LM Studio and how it works. So Olama is essentially the better CLI tool because they have more integrations with like direct API integrations and stuff like that. LM Studio is geared more towards the crowd that prefers GUIs. So basically, LM if you want a GUI, LM Studio. If you want a better CLI tool with better automation, it sounds like Olama is going to be the preferred method there. So really, you don't need to install LM Studio unless you want to test it. But Olama, we're gonna pull in all the local models we're gonna be testing with. We're gonna pull into Olama via CLI. And it sounds like Olama's better if you're wiring into like Python, PowerShell, and automation scripts directly. So, hey, I learned something new today. So, sorry if I steered you in the wrong direction. Come on. So close to being done with the first download. Need to hardwire my laptop because this is crazy. Come on. Hey, for those of you that have stopped by so far, I really appreciate it. I love talking about this stuff, just having casual conversations. I feel like so many of us are like kind of like building AI in silos. I think we need to be more open about what we're doing and that we're all learning as this stuff is just moving so fast. So I think it's important to have those conversations, and yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by so far. So once this is like fully built, we're going to be doing some we're going to essentially run our custom MCP that we built that runs against my home lab, and that's going to run on local models. So I have my laptop and my desktop connected to my tailnet, and then my lab runs on my desktop, and it can actually connect directly to my lab from my laptop over my tailnet, which is pretty cool. If you've never used Tailscale, highly recommend. Its free tier is super generous for any home labbers or anybody that needs like a VPN product to connect devices. It's phenomenal. So quick plug for Tailscale. Alright, so my 70 billion finally finished, and I'm just going to restart Llama. Yeah, mine installed too. I let's see. And then if you truly want to install all the models I'm installing, I will paste that command in chat. So these are the other models. You don't have to do those right now if you don't want. Those can run in the background. So the next step really is you can just like launch it. Give me just a second. Now, like full disclosure, the 70 billion model, I mean, it's even on my hardware, it's probably gonna struggle a bit. I think the primary model we're going to use in the video is the Qwen 3.6 35 billion one. So if you want to install that as well, it would just be this. Here, let me look up what would be a good model for you to run on your hardware. Give me one sec. She said Ryzen 9. What would be a good Olama model or model available on Olama to run on a Ryzen 9 32 gigs of RAM with a 5070 graphics card? So Qwen 3.59 billion, which we're not doing. Yeah, so it looks like It looks like for your hardware, your best bet is going to be, and again, I'm sorry that if you've already downloaded it, you can definitely test 70 billion. It's just it'll probably crawl a bit on your machine. It's gonna crawl on my machine too. One sec, I'll give you the command. Yeah, so I think what other models does Olama have? So this is the one that it's recommending you run, which is Quen 3.59 billion. And that runs on like, it says it runs on approximately 6 gigs of RAM, which will fit in the VRAM of your GPU. So that one should run better for you, and the download should also take significantly less time than the 70 billion. I'm really curious to see how the 70 billion runs on this Mac. I'm anticipating it crawling, but I think the Quen 3.6, 27 and 35 are going to be the sweet spot. Oof. My phone died. Oof. One sec, my phone died, sorry. Oops. Was a little preoccupied. Well, I'm just at the will of waiting for this battery to charge. My fault. Totally my fault. Let's do this. And we're gonna switch this to Okay, we're almost back. Battery's charged. My sincere apologies. Why does it look so weird now? Alright, heaven's sakes. Now we're back. I don't know why I got all zoomed in, but oh well. Alright, back to work. Still just... Oh, okay, so we got... longer boom arm. So we got... Coin 3.635 is done. So we're starting up Quen 3.6, 35 billion. Starting up for the first time. Let's see what happens. Let's see if my laptop lights on fire live here on the camera. I don't know why, but this song goes hard. Oh, it's running. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh man, this is awesome. Oh man, this is so cool. Nice. So we're running, here's my stats. I'll paste my stats in chat. See if this all pastes. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Sorry for pointing you down the wrong direction there. That other model's probably better. So I installed the 35 billion model, and this was my results for my first run. Wish I could share my screen here. I'm just on a different, running this on a different machine that I'm streaming from, so we'll get that figured out for the next time. But it ran surprisingly fast. I just said, hey, how are you doing today? And you can see its whole thinking process. Man, it's so cool. What's a 35 billion parameter model? I kind of want to run the... All right, I'm going to run the 70 billion real quick and just see how bad it is. So let's do... How do we exit? Okay, so let's ask it a networking question. Let me see if it has access to my lab. Does this model have access to my home lab from the config download that we did? All right, so we're just gonna do, if I want to configure BGP on a Cisco ISR router, or just Cisco ISR, where would I start? What would be my first commands? This is, I mean, this is running really good. I am pretty surprised. Oh man, that's so cool. It's crazy that these local models are trained on so much data that even like without internet access, it can tell you like a full Cisco BGP config. I guess like just imagine training a model like this is like what Cisco's been doing. Like they have a model trained like specifically for networking. Like these models that we're testing with, these are like trained on super generalized data. Like these models aren't trained to be network engineers, and Cisco's working on that. Like it'd be super cool, and maybe we'll do this in a later video, but it'd be super cool to like take one of these models and add our own fine tuning on it and add in more network engineer specific stuff. Like you can obviously build your own custom MCP servers that know your environment, but what if you built, or what if you fine tuned a model with data specifically for your network? Like that'd be so cool, wouldn't it? I mean, like you wouldn't even need the MCP integration. You just talk to it. It would know your environment. Now, what happens if your environment changes? I don't know. Thinking out loud. I wish I could post more in chat. The chat character sequence is so small, but if you run it in, if you run the, whenever you get that next model installed, if you're still here hanging out, when you run it, if you do -- verbose at the end, so like for example, this is the one I ran for the 35 billion model. Nope, not that. And so if you do the verbose flag at the end of it, it'll actually print out in your CLI window. It'll print out like its thinking process, its reasoning process. Versus if you just run it without that, it'll just give you like your prompt and then the question. The nice thing about the verbose is like you can see it printing off and thinking as it's doing everything, which I think is cool. It's crazy how easy it is to get these set up too. Like we literally just downloaded Olama, downloaded the model into Olama, and just hit run, and now it's running. It's so cool. All right, what's our next step here? Okay, I'm gonna step away for just a sec. I will be right back. Before I do, see if we got any questions in the chat. Okay. All right, I will be right back. Probably gonna run, or just FYI, I'll probably run the stream for about 30 more minutes, then we're gonna call it here. But yeah, I'll be right back. All right. All right. So, what did we leave off here? For those just joining, so basically we installed Olama. We installed the Olama 70 billion model because we're going to test it here in a second and just see how it runs on my MacBook. Then we installed the Quen 3.6 35 billion model. We ran that. My first run was pretty solid. So I'm gonna spin up I put the metrics in chat, but I'm gonna spin up the 70 billion model here in a second and kind of see how that runs compared to the 35 billion model. And if you're just joining, too, basically we're just testing and building local models for network engineering purposes. So what we're going to do is we're going to run our custom agents on top of these local models so that we can kind of compare how agents work on like the frontier cloud models versus your local models, and you can kind of weigh the trade-offs. Obviously, the big thing with running a local model is cost savings, privacy, cost savings being the big one. So, yeah. So I'm going to spin up the $70 billion model here. And I wish I could share my screen. I got to get that figured out for the next time. I could. Let me see if there's a way I can share my screen here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just want to share my screen when we run this 7 billion model for the first time. I think it'd be pretty cool to show. Let's find our... Just gonna remote into my other machine here. Come on. There we go. Okay. So let's switch to this monitor. Close that one. All right, so we're gonna do. Oh my, bad idea. Why is it rotated so weird? Ah. Alright, we'll just shut that off. We'll kill that. Well, here, let's just do this. Okay. Alright, so right now we're running the Quen 35 billion model, and I'll just kind of show you. So my last chat was, basically I asked it a BGP question. Said if I want to configure BGP on an ISR, where would I start? You can see it kind of running through its thinking process here. make that a little bigger. So like I feel like that was pretty quick. So if we want to run the 70 billion model, we are we're gonna do /by, and then we're gonna run. So do llama run llama 3.3 70b -- verbose. All right, here we go. See if it lights on fire. It's taking its time. There we go. So we're gonna say, let's do the same prompt. See how long it takes. I should have ran a timer. So we're gonna say, I'm just gonna run this again. Oh, it didn't run in verbose. It's not showing me the thinking. Lame. I mean, that's not that bad, honestly. Like, if I'm just gonna type a command and then wait a sec, like, sure, it's printing it slow, I guess, but like, that's definitely livable. And for code, like for hands-off coding, I mean, that's really not bad. I am curious to see what my performance looks like. This is like with, I'll have to see with a llama, but like this is where like routing is super beneficial. Let me switch back to, so this is where like routing is beneficial, like model routing, because if there's a way for me to send like hands-off type stuff to the 70 billion model, and then maybe I just run the 35 billion for like just my normal chats, you know, that's a good use case for it. Because like, sure, the 70 billion is running pretty slow, but like if I have a super complex coding task that I want to give it, and I just want to set it and forget it, I don't see anything wrong with it taking a little bit longer, you know. So I mean, my computer hasn't crashed yet, so. Let me do this. And let's look at the actual. Oh yeah, look at that. 45 gigs, baby. It's the energy impact. It's not even bad. That memory though. CPU is like nothing. See if I can find it. And honestly, like while it's running right now, like it's not like my computer is running poorly. All right, here we go, down at the bottom. So physical memory use 62 gigs of 64. Nice. So that total, that one prompt took, what, 3 minutes? And I mean, that's not that bad. Like, sure, if you're like a speed coder, I guess. But I feel like that's not bad. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming here. All right, so we got about 15 more minutes before I'm gonna call this. Let me see if we got any questions in the chat here. All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll be on here for another, like I said, 15 minutes or so. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Otherwise, I am going to get back to my build run book here so that we can start doing some actual network engineering against or with local models here soon. Now, I'm gonna kill this 70 billion model so I get some memory back. Did that. But consider me impressed. Okay, so if you've run local models before, what models have you run? Let me know. Just curious. So the next step is going to be doing some benchmarking. Hey, sorry, I missed your chat there. I don't know why. Man, didn't refresh. Sorry if I missed your chat. If you're still hanging out, so yeah, so we basically are, or we installed 3.18 billion. Yeah. So I just ran and did a test with Quen 3.6, 35 billion, and Olama 3.1, 70 billion. Is that what we ran? Or I'm sorry, Olama 3.3, 70 billion. And yeah, so I'm basically I'm just preparing for my next like long form video, and I'm just kind of recording, doing a live stream as we prep for that. As part of that prep, I'm getting some local models installed. In the video, we're going to show kind of some benchmarks between running local models versus running Cloud Frontier models, and the differences between running local models for agentic tasks against our custom MCP server that we built in one of my last videos, versus the frontier models, so that you can kind of better understand the pros and cons between running cloud and local models. Obviously, the big pro is money savings and privacy with running a local model. But yeah, so basically, I'm just getting some models installed, doing some quick chats, doing some benchmarking on them, seeing where we're at, and then yeah. So I'll be on here for about 10 more minutes or so. So if you got any other questions, feel free to throw them in chat. Happy to discuss anything. My arthritis is acting up, apparently. Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna do some testing in the video where I basically cap my RAM at 16 gigs to show the performance of that. So I recently got a MacBook M3. It's a MacBook Pro 2023, but it's got the M3 Max with 64 gigs of unified RAM, which I know that's more than what some people have. But yeah, so we're gonna do some testing to kind of see what you can get out of a more like maybe gamer type PC, like 16 to 32 gigs of RAM, just to do some comparisons there. But I think ultimately, as these local models continue to get better and better, I think we're just going to keep seeing better performance. I think the local models are always going to kind of lag behind the frontier models by at least a few months. I think right now it's like 3 to 6 months. But as they continue to get more and more efficient, I mean, I can run Gemma 4 on my Galaxy S26 Ultra, which is a 4 billion parameter model running on my smartphone directly, which is crazy. So, yeah. Is it? Okay. So I haven't done much Gemma 4 testing. I installed on my smartphone, on my Android. And I'm using my Android as my recording camera right now. But let me look it up. So I'm not giving you bad info. So it's a Google AI Edge Gallery. Now, I don't know what the Apple equivalent is, or if there is an Apple equivalent. But yeah, so it's Google AI Edge Gallery, and you just basically download the model into the app and then just start it. And yeah, like it was running on my smartphone. I didn't do any like metric testing, but I started a chat with it. It was crazy. So I think as things continue to progress, we're going to see more of that. And I think really what we're going to see. Sorry, 1 second. I think really what we're going to see is developer, like for mobile specifically, developers putting local models within applications. Like each application is going to have its own local model running within it. And I think that's where we're going to get. I think we're a bit off from that, but I think that's where we're going to. That's just going to be crazy because as the like hardware space progresses, I think we're opening up the ecosystem to developers to be able to like do that. There's already some apps that are doing that, but the fact that I can run a 4 billion parameter model on my smartphone, just I don't know, it just blew my mind. It was crazy. All right, cool. I'm gonna started to lag there for a second. Oh, that's because I had another model download kicking off. I'm just casually downloading local AI models as I'm streaming. So thank goodness I have AT&T fiber at home. Cool. Well, I'm gonna jump off here. I'll throw my website in the chat. You can find me. I mean, all my socials and stuff are on there. So LinkedIn. I'm pretty active in the VibeOps Slack, the Network Automation Forum Slack. I'm in the Pack and Pushers Slack as well. You can email me. It's garrett@gtalkstech.com. Check me out on my website. Again, all my socials are there. Other videos, all that stuff. But cool. It was super cool jumping on here, and I appreciate everybody that connected. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. And whenever the video for this testing that we were doing here actually drops, obviously you guys will see it. And yeah, so see you later.